Do people in Canada have cable? Like other people?
We keep this up in the playoffs. I don't care.
And at Chili's. Is it a Chili's? At Kyle's?
Achilles.
Finally.
You don't know that?
Fuck you! Get this guy the fuck out of here!
Alright, well, coming in at number 5, I got Anthony Stolarz.
Now! Jets are winning the cup!
Thank you for watching and listening. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the NordCast. It is Thursday, January 16th, 2024. I am your host here, Nordic 97, joined with Carter. Carter, how we doing?
We're doing pretty well. First episode for me of 2025, so I am ready. I am excited to get this ball absolutely rolling. It's going to be a hell of a year for the NordCast crew and for myself as well. So buckle up and get ready for a good one.
Hell yeah, we are locked in and ready to go. First off, we are going to start off with what is going on or what just happened in Philadelphia. On Saturday, Cutter Gauthier returned to Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, and boy, was it eventful. Chirps in the crowd. The Flyers were going at him in the actual game itself. He got absolutely hit like multiple times, like brutal hits too. And as a result, the Flyers ended up absolutely destroying Anaheim in what was probably their best game of the season, I would say, by a score of 6-0. Carter, what were your overall takeaways from that game?
So I couldn't unfortunately watch it. Sadly, I had hockey on the same day. And the place that we were playing did not have Wi-Fi or could not get data in the dressing room. So I was completely relying on the end of the game to go well. And as soon as my phone connects to data, I have like 6 text messages from my dad. All of them are from Flyers Nation and a bunch of different Flyers accounts on Twitter. And it would not have been a fun day to be Cutter Gauthier on January 11th. That would not have been a very fun time, to be completely honest with you.
That was from the moment that game started, from the moment the day started, we knew the Flyers were going to win that game. I prayed to God the Flyers would win that game, because if they lost, it wouldn't be fun, especially if Cutter Gauthier scored in the game. That would not end well, and it feels.
Oh, if Cutter would have scored in the game, Philly would have burnt to the ground.
Yeah, most likely. But they knew from the moment that puck dropped to the moment that game ended, like, the Flyers were going to win that game. They dominated that game on every single cylinder. Jamie Drysdale, the guy they got back for Cutter Gauthier, actually scored a goal for the Flyers. And it's been kind of a rough year for him. He's kind of struggled at points this season. So it was good to see him get on the board there. And then, like, eventually the whole game just got ran away with. Did you see that one hit from Ristolainen on Gauthier? And the crowd, like, went ballistic.
There was a lot of plays that happened on Cutter Gauthier that really got the crowd into it. There were a couple that went, also a little under the radar. Like, we saw Scott Lawton absolutely throw a shot right to Cutter Gauthier's face, absolutely rung his bell. We saw Travis Konechny say, "I will fight you. I fucking promise I will fight you." So Cutter Gauthier, it needs to, for as long as Travis Konechny is in the NHL, if I was Cutter Gauthier, I would not step on the ice with Travis Konechny. I don't care if I'm bigger than Konechny. I don't care. Konechny is a mean motherfucker. And not only that, he has the entire city of Philadelphia behind him. That man is not losing that fight.
Yeah, 110%. There were a lot of people on social media, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, everywhere. A lot of people were saying that Flyers fans are ridiculous and are babies and are soft for the reason why they are chanting these things for Cutter Gauthier. And on a level, I do understand it. On a level, I understand why people are thinking that way, because I do realize that it is a little bit immature. It is a little bit stupid. And, we're talking smack when we probably, in theory, lost the trade. I hate to say that, but it's kind of too early to tell still. but in theory, it seems like we might have lost that deal. But like that kid, we draft him 5th overall. You got to go back to at that point. We draft him 5th overall. This team was coming off of such a terrible, terrible season. Like one of the worst seasons in recent memory and one of the worst seasons I've ever experienced. That year was awful by all standards. There were almost no positives in that year whatsoever. The following year was a little bit better, but that was one of the worst years I've ever seen as a Flyers fan. We get Gauthier. Our future looks a lot brighter under him. He goes in the following year, tears up Boston University, absolutely tears up that college and tears up that league. Looked absolutely insane. The following year, we get Michkov. And Michkov, everybody went crazy because we're like, oh my God, we have Cutter Gauthier and Matvei Michkov on the same team. Like, that is the team. Like, if we, and I still think about this to this day, and if you guys saw my TikTok on the overall trade, looking back at it a year ago, like, it still makes me angry to this day. Imagine Cutter Gauthier and Matvei Michkov together. Those were arguably the 2 best prospects at the time. And that was why people were so excited. But then Cutter Gauthier, apparently there was like a fallout between either like him and Danny Briere or something happened. There were rumors that reportedly Gauthier wanted to come and play for the NHL team, and Briere was like, no, I don't really want you to come in this environment right now because the locker room is negative, which makes sense. But apparently Gauthier was not okay with that, did not give the Flyers a second chance, and just, wasn't the same after that. And then obviously the World Juniors come along last year. Gauthier is one of the best players in the tournament. I think he won it. No, he was like 2nd or 3rd in MVP voting for that.
I'm pretty sure he won it.
No, Jonathan.
He won best forward.
He won best forward, yes. He didn't win the MVP of the tournament. But when you look at that, like at that time, like the fans were so excited for our future because with Matvei Michkov and Cutter Gauthier, like that was our duo. And then he gets traded because he didn't want to play for us for a reason that he never even specified. Again, maybe it is that reason that I said, but he won't tell us. He won't say why. And he even said after in like the post-game interview, he said like, if people knew the real story, maybe they would feel different about this. Okay, maybe, but you aren't telling us. You won't tell us what it is. So how do you expect us to be like, oh yeah, see ya, Cutter. Thank you for being a waste of a 5th round pick, and not be pissed off. I get it. Philadelphia fans may take it to a whole nother level. I am not denying that whatsoever. Flyers fans love to do that. But at the same time, you won't tell us why you left. I think any city would be upset with that. For example, let's go to
Winnipeg.
Let's go to Winnipeg. Let's use Rucker McGroarty as a prime example. And that's happened before. We talked about that in the offseason, where McGroarty was a player who just was like, I don't want to play here. Something had to have happened where they fell out, but he wouldn't tell us. He wouldn't tell us the reason why. He wouldn't tell Winnipeg why. He gets traded to Pittsburgh. He actually says in a thing where he's like, it just didn't feel right wearing the Jets jersey. That was the most brain dead thing I've ever heard come out of a prospect's mouth. But he comes over earlier on in the season while the Jets are rolling, and they hear and the Jets fans were letting him have it too. Like, it's not.
He wasn't even playing.
Yeah, too. Exactly. And he's in the A too, so you can't talking so much.
It's horrible.
Talk all that, yeah. Carter's also a Jets fan, by the way, if you guys are new to the pod. But yeah, like, again, like you can't expect for Philly fans to be like, oh, goodbye, Carter. Goodbye. Waste of a 5th overall pick, and not be pissed off. If they told us why, and it was a situation where I'm like, yeah, that makes sense, I probably would have been like, yeah, that's on management. But he won't freaking tell us. So what do you expect from us? You expect, again, like, I get it. Philly fans take it too far. But in this instance, I don't see any team in the NHL will be acting this way. What do you think, Carter?
I couldn't agree more. I think if you want people to understand your side, but you don't say anything, that's like it's accusing with no evidence. Like you're not gonna win people over with just nothing and just saying If only people knew the whole story. You're not gonna win people over. No one's gonna give a fuck, and you're called a baby. That's what you are right now, because you're not telling us what happened. You're not. That's it. That's all you have to do is tell us what happened and let people pick sides. But the only thing that you've said is crickets. There's nothing. If only people knew the whole story, then tell us the fucking story, because it's getting ridiculous, Cutter.
Again, if we knew the story, I don't think Saturday would have gone the way it went. Maybe it would have. Maybe there still would have been.
It probably still would have. Let's be honest.
Maybe, yeah, you're probably right. But I think irrationally there would be some, especially there would be people who would be like, okay, I understand that. Blame it on the management. Like, I'm trying to think of a good example, like of something that would make him want to leave. Like, maybe Briere said, no, you're not playing, and then never talked to him again throughout the season. It seems like it was the other way around, actually. But then I would be like, okay, I kind of get that a little bit, and I get that's all management. I get you want to leave, but you won't tell us. So I don't get what you're expecting. I don't get what other fans around the league are expecting. I think that, again, no matter what city, no matter what prospect it was, I think it would have gone that same way. And again, too, like, you guys also have to realize that we had like at that point, and I think about it every day to this day, we could have had Michkov and Gauthier, and our future would have been set. Like, all you need is maybe like a few more pieces. Like a Jetluchenko type-esque player would fit perfectly with Gauthier, Michkov, and all of them. Like, that would be a great big three. But instead, our franchise, our future wasn't completely altered, but it was altered a lot. So it definitely, again, like, you can't expect Philly fans to not be upset by it. So we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that situation, because I think we could go into it for about 20 minutes. But again, we're both Flyers fans, so you can take that conversation with what you will. But I feel like any NHL fan would be reacting the same way that we would be. Maybe not to the Flyers-esque of things, because we do things a little bit extra in Philadelphia. But at the same time, I think people can understand where we're coming at a level. Okay, let's talk about something that has been making a lot of headlines recently. The Boston Bruins were on a 6-game losing streak this past week. It just sucks because with the way that the podcast lined up, we didn't talk about it in the last episode because it wasn't that. It was like a 2-game losing streak at the time. But they lose 6 games, and Rich Keefe of a popular Bruins radio station made the allegation that David Pastrnak and Brad Marchand don't like each other. And maybe that's the fact that they don't play on the same line all the time. And maybe that's what's happening in Boston right now with this losing streak. There's a big rift. It was something that was really kind of out of nowhere. It didn't make a ton of sense. And Marchand responded to the criticism. And I want to take a look at that right now, because I think that, it's worth listening to the clip. So we're going to play it here. It's about, 3 minutes and 40 seconds. I probably won't even play the whole thing. So, let's hear from Marchand.
There was a radio report this morning that I know you're aware of. That Costa doesn't want to play it online with you. I'm just trying to get your reaction.
Well, yeah, I have heard, what was said in the media this morning. It's unfortunate. I know reporters have a job to do, and that job is to report on the team, and usually you try to be fact-based. But when there's just blatant lies told in the media, that's where there's a problem. And the fact that this guy has a platform and he's just making stuff up is embarrassing. And there's zero truth to anything that he said on the radio. This is how you lose your job very quickly. The fact that he's going to have a job after this is insane, because Pass and I are best friends. We've had an incredibly close relationship for a long time. The only reason we don't play together is so that we can spread depth throughout the lineup. There's zero truth to him being a problem in the room. He's one of the most loved guys in the room. There's zero issues in the room at all. And the fact that they say that he's in the center of anything is a completely fabricated lie. So this guy has zero merit to anything he's saying. It's very frustrating, because this is what happens. Obviously, we have not pulled our weight this year. We have not had the season that we've wanted to have. But I'm not going to let some random guy come in the media and just spit absolute nonsense. And so So, I mean, from this point forward, this guy has zero credibility. The fact that he's coming out with this is ridiculous. It's embarrassing. It just anything that he puts forward in the future is now not going to be deemed as truth because he's completely just making all of this up.
All right, we'll stop there. That is one of the best responses I've heard all season. Big props to Marchand. 10 out of 10 response. He did a great job at handling that. Again, like, it doesn't make sense. Like, it is something that you're completely pulling out of your ass. And Rich Keefe, I will say this as well, I have heard the reports that he is somebody who is well known in, like, he's known for breaking things early. Like, he broke the Jeremy Swayman news relatively early. He broke Jim Montgomery firing the morning before. But at the same, like, I don't think he pulled this out of his ass, but at the same time, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. I feel like, it's very obvious in a sense that they are not playing with each other to spread death along the lineup. I think that is completely obvious. It just seems like a completely, something that you're trying to get for clicks and things like that. And I totally agree with Marchand. He zero credibility for that guy now. Yeah. I almost killed that. Wow. You have no words.
I got nothing left. I will say that it does completely make sense. I mean, I think that it's something that the diehard hockey fans won't really play into too much, because I think everyone knows that. Boston lacks a lot of scoring depth. Oh my, and they need depth, and that's what they had to do. But the casual fan that sees their two best players not playing together is going to have some problems here. So, I mean, I think he got exactly what he wanted with the casual fans and then it lighting out into this big open fire. But I think diehard hockey fans and diehard Bruins fans for sure know that there's nothing to worry about. And this is just what has to be done.
Yeah, I feel like the media a lot recently has done a lot of stupid things. Like with Pettersson versus Miller, I get there might be some stuff there, but I feel like they're blowing that way out of proportion. With this, it feels like it might not be made up. It might be something, maybe there's something there to stir things up in the locker room. Maybe an employee told that to speed up the rebuild or something is what Chicklets said. But again, at the same time, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. If you're going to make something like that, at least make it make a little bit of sense. That was something that really made me scratch my head there a little bit. But yeah, the media recently has just been really, really annoying. Like they're blowing things way out of proportion than they need to be. Let's keep it in the Atlantic Division. Let's talk about the Detroit Red Wings. The Red Wings won 7 in a row, and then they lost to San Jose the other night. But they still won 7 in a row. Props to them. It has been an unbelievable run in the Todd McLellan era, going on a 7-game winning streak. Carter, can you take us through those 7 games that the Red Wings have played?
I definitely can as soon as I can find Detroit. There we go.
Start off with the loss to Toronto first, because that was the first game in the Todd McLellan era.
The loss to Toronto. So on the 27th. So he was hired right after Christmas. So since the Todd McLellan era, we have... All right, so in the Todd McLellan era, they've played 9 games. So they're 7-2 in the Todd McLellan era. Obviously, that first game was kind of a get their feet wet. Lucas Raymond, he's had 14 points with 5 goals through the 9 games. Patrick Kane with 13. Dylan Larkin with 12. Alex DeBrincat with 11. And then Moritz Seider, who's the last one. He's just under a point per game with 8 points through 9. No goals for him though, but I'm not gonna lie, it's looking really good for that top group of Raymond, Kane, Larkin, DeBrincat, all of them being above a point per game, all of them having 5 or more goals. So averaging a goal every 2 games from 4 players is really good. That's unbelievable to get. Like, because I know you don't like pace, but you keep that pace up. And you're looking at 4 40 goal scorers. Like that's unbelievable to have on your team. So the Todd McLellan play is definitely working. And it's working real well. The one thing I will
On pace though. I've kind of
Hmm?
opened up the on pace a little bit. You saw
Thank
my
you. It's a,
post today where I posted something about the on pace goal leaders.
yeah,
So I've
it's about
opened up a little bit.
fucking time. Anyways, one thing I will say, Mort Seider, this guy is a time on ice machine. Over those games, he's had almost 25 minutes a night. Next closest being just under 22 minutes a night. So almost 3 minutes more than his next closest D-man. You can see why a Mort Seider is relied upon a lot.
I mean, are you surprised? Look at that.
No,
That blue line
not
is
at all.
garbage.
That blue line's atrocious. So, I mean, having to play him all that time, does it suck a little bit? But at the same time, he is your best player on that back end by far. The one thing I will say is some of their guys' plus minuses is not too incredible. Lucas Raymond, despite having 14 points, is at 0. Dylan Larkin, 12 points, is at 0. Right? So their plus minus, there's a lot more dashes than I would like to see if I was 7-2 in my last 9.
Is that over the 9 games, or is that over the season? Okay.
So that's what I'm saying is that's a little concerning. But at the end of the day, a win's a win, right? There's no other way around it. A win is a win, and you'll take them how you can get them. So I mean, yeah, hey, be proud, be happy. I mean, it's great to have an awful lot, but I think you kind of want some of your top guys to not be at 0 or in the negatives in their plus minus.
Yeah, I think one of the things that needs to be pointed out is the fact that during this winning streak, they're beating a lot of really good teams and teams that they need to beat in the wild card race. They start off a win against Washington. Washington, one of the best teams in the league. Then they beat Pittsburgh. They're battling for them in the wild card race. They beat Columbus. They're battling for them in the wild card race. They beat the Jets. They beat the Senators. You know, they're beating good teams relatively on that stretch. So it's not like they're playing the worst teams in the NHL and, you know, still losing and all that. But they do have a pretty big test coming up with Florida and Tampa Bay. And then they go to Dallas. And then they come back to Philadelphia, which I will be there. So they'll probably end up losing. But my dad's going, and I'm undefeated with my dad at Flyers games. So the Flyers are going to win.
Hey.
Anyways, yeah, they're going on that little bit of a road trip there. They need to at least win. They need to get, of a possible 8 points, they need to get at least 4 or 5 on that 4-game road trip. And, you know, this road trip might be a little bit of a test to see, you know, is the Todd McLellan coaching boost like really legit? Or is this just the aftermath of getting a new coach where the offense explodes? Do you think, though, Carter, that this coaching hire, like, is it just the boost that is making them win all these games in a row, or is it really Todd McLellan, you know, actually making an impact on this team?
So there's a couple different things it could be. One, I think you look at Edmonton last year, how they were just awful, and then coaching change, boom, they got hot, right?
Yeah.
Now, it's not uncommon for coaches to get hot right out of the gate, but it's also not common for them to be cold. I think that there's 2 different ways to look at it when you're hiring a new coach. They're either really hot or they're really cold. Now, for some teams who ended up going up against Detroit, they were looking at a whole new system for the Detroit Red Wings, because you can scout out, you know, Todd McLellan's past teams or whatever, but he's working with a brand new team with trying to figure out, okay, what guys can I do with what systems can I run with what, and so on and so forth. So it's really good for Todd McLellan. So I mean, I think that he deserves a ton of credit for how he's got this team playing. I don't know if it's all Todd McLellan or if it's just something else, but I think that he is definitely a huge part in this success over these last 9 games.
Okay, yeah, I still think for me it's over these 9 games. Yes, he's been good, but I still think it's a little bit too early to tell if it's really him or it's just the boost of a new head coach. Like it's still a little too early to tell. I will say this though, it feels like the offense has boomed under him. Like Patrick Kane on this stretch has almost as much points as he did in like 30 games played under Lalonde. So again, like we talked about a lot in episodes this season where, Detroit really had that problem of just not being able to score. And I think that, McLellan, maybe it's McClellan's the reason why the offense is boosted, or maybe it's just a head coaching boost. But I really don't know, to be honest with you. We'll have to see over this next week or so what really comes of Detroit. But look, we're going to move on to a bad team, and a team that has really been concerning, and I think there might be a real shakeup coming there with the roster. The Seattle Kraken. The Kraken are bottom 5 in the NHL. They are bottom 2 in the Pacific Division. They're bad. They are 19, 23, and 3 for 41 points. They did just win their last game, but they have gone on some awful stretches over these last couple of weeks. When you look in terms of their schedule, it has not been ideal whatsoever. Dropping games on the road. They just came off of a pretty brutal road trip, losing to Columbus and Detroit. They wrap it up tonight against Winnipeg when you're listening to this episode. But overall, they only have 2 wins in just 7 games in the month of January. And
I'm at that game.
Oh, you are going to that game.
I am at that game. Oh my goodness. I am so excited.
That's right. Yeah.
I have not been to a game all fucking year, and it's Seattle. Oh my God.
Oh, they're going to lose now.
Oh, 100%. I know it.
But yeah, again, like Seattle has just, it has not been a good year. And we thought that maybe the ads of Brandon Montour and Chandler Stevenson would help out. But they really haven't, Carter. Do you want to go into what their stats are?
With pleasure.
Stevenson, when you get to
What?
him.
Oh, yeah. Chandler Stevenson as well. I wasn't going to forget about him. Now, leading scorer, Jared McCann. He's looked really good in Seattle. I don't know, he's just been really good there. He's got 33 points through 45 games played. Chandler Stevenson, their new addition. He's looked solid kind of in that new system. He's got 30 points through 44 games, only 6 goals, not super ideal. Brandon Montour not looking too hot. He's only got 23 points through 44 games played. And then Matty Beniers, who...
What's going on?
What's going on with him, man? Like, he had such an unreal rookie season and then just kind of fell off. Like, I know that you can call me biased because I still defend Trevor Zegras. I'll still defend Matty Beniers. The only thing is Zegras has an excuse is he's been injured twice. Matty Beniers has not. Yeah. Right? Matty Beniers has not had any crazy injuries as of late. So I'm just trying to figure out what happened and what can Matty Beniers do to get out of this slump? Because I think that all it's going to take is a game or two for Matty Beniers to just get hot through 2 games where he goes either back-to-back 2-point nights or he has a 4-point night or just some sort of crazy game for Matty Beniers for him to snap out of it and he's back to his rookie self and he's playing like the player we thought he was going to be, right?
Yeah.
But it's kind of concerning because we thought this last year that he was going to come out of his slump, and he didn't really. And then start of this year, someone said something about Matty Beniers is going to come out of his slump or something along those lines of Matty Beniers is going to be.
One of us said it. Yes, I'm pretty sure one of us did.
So one of us, we're going to look back at the end of the season, and one of us is going to get clowned for that take. But whatever. Yeah. So. I will say there are some bright spots here. Shane Wright has looked pretty good. He's got 21 points through 42 games. Eli Tolvanen, he's looked pretty solid. And then the brightest spot of this team. He was recently acquired 12 games ago. Oh. Capo Caco. He has 9 points through his last 12 games, 4 goals, 5 assists. He's looking like a second overall pick, should.
Yeah.
Listen, hell of a trade by Seattle to get this guy. I think we all knew what Capo Caco was going to be, and I think we've all learned that New York is just not very good at developing or giving their young guys a chance. Like, I mean, you look at Lafreniere, it took him so long to start finding his game, and he's found it. Capo Caco took so long in New York to where they were eventually just like, nah, we're done. We give up on him. We can't deal with this. He's already at 9 points in 12 games.
Has almost the same amount of points as Lafreniere does this year.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, I don't understand New York at all.
Yeah.
I will say, heck of a trade to get a 23-year-old for who was a second overall pick. You're banking on his potential because what do they give up? Like a third
round pick and like Will Borgen, like the 6th or 7th defenseman. Yeah, for sure. All right, I want to throw some positives at Seattle first. We're gonna start off with Kakko. I want to look at his last 3 games, or we'll do last 5 games. Last 5 games with the Rangers, his overall ice time, and his last 5 games with the Kraken, his stats and his overall ice time. So, first off, let's start off here. December 8th against Seattle. Ironically enough, he has 1 assist, plays 12 minutes. The next game against Chicago plays 14 minutes, almost 15 minutes. The next game against Buffalo plays 12 minutes, no points. Then the following game, he gets scratched. I think he comes back for 1 game, plays 13 minutes. And then against Nashville, the game they got shut out 3-0 in, he only plays 10 minutes of ice time. And keep in mind, during those 5 games played, he only had 1 assist. So I don't know if you want to add up that math there, Carter, if you want to look at the game logs yourself, but that is not a great average of ice time. His last 5 games with Seattle has been way better. Way better than his ice time and numbers with the Rangers. So against New Jersey on January 6th, we'll just go off of January 6th. He played 19 minutes. So that's a massive increase. That might be more ice time than he's ever gotten in his entire career with the Rangers. 19 minutes, almost a full period. The next game against Columbus, plays 18 minutes. Looks okay. You know, that wasn't an ideal game, but still plays 18 minutes. The following game, his ice time dips a little bit, plays 14 minutes, but he scores twice. He scores 2 goals in 14 minutes. Then against the Red Wings, plays 15 minutes. Not a great game. And then last night against Pittsburgh, plays 20 minutes. 20 minutes. So in those last 5 games played, 3 of those 5 games played, he played more than 18 minutes a night. And during those 5 games, he averaged 3 goals, 2 assists for 5 points in those 5 games played. You know how many he averaged in his last 5 games? 1 assist. So again, that shows what ice time can really do to a player. It almost never hurts. And again, Kakko has been a massive positive on that Rangers team. And I know this is supposed to be
Seattle team.
Or what did I say? New York? Yeah, Seattle team for sure. But I know this is supposed to be a hating on them, but Kakko was a massive positive for me. But let's go into the negatives now. Stevenson, you need scoring on this team desperately, and you go out and acquire someone who can only pass the puck. Wasn't going to work out from the jump. He actually has some of the worst advanced analytics in the NHL, like has one of the worst analytics in the league. His contract looks absolutely horrendous. It might be the worst signing of that free agency class. Like beating out Stamkos and the other signings that don't look that hot right now. Like it looks horrible. Brandon Montour I think it's been a little bit better. The offense has dropped off a tad with him. I think he's still been a little bit better though than Stevenson's been. Again, Beniers, like I don't get really what's going on there with him. He is on pace to have the same amount of goals as he had last season, only 15, and then he's only on pace to have like 5 more points than he did last year. So again, has not been an ideal year for him. And I think the biggest thing too, the one thing that the Kraken have been really missing out on, they missed out on him for a lot of the season, was Vince Dunn. Vince Dunn was a massive part on this Kraken team last season and the year before that when they got into the playoffs. And it just, you know, he has missed about like 20 more games than everybody else on the team. And I think that really has an impact. You're losing your number 1 defenseman. And I think that for sure, like, you know, you can't win that way. You can't win without your number 1 guy. So that was something that I looked at for sure with Seattle. Again, they don't have a lot of depth outside of that. Like Yanni Gourde only has 16 points in 35 games played. Burakovsky has 16 points in 42 games played. Jordan Eberle only 11 points in 17 games this year. He's injured. But a lot of the guys that they really brought in to help with depth scoring and things like that have just not panned out the way they wanted to. And then Daniel Sprong was placed on waivers a couple of days ago, and he was someone who looked like a really good scoring depth forward for them a few years ago, and with Detroit last year. I don't really know what went wrong there, but again, like Seattle lacking the scoring, lacking the depth, and the goaltending. Besides, like Joey Dackard's been really good. I don't know if you want to read off his stats card or you want me to, but with Dackard, what's up?
Oh, about time he finally noticed my hand being raised. Jesus.
I was looking at the stats. What's up?
Oh, yeah. No, I was just going to ask, do you want the averages?
Yeah, what's the averages for Kako?
Oh, okay. Well, his average with New York was 1245 through the last 5 games. And then for Mr. Capo Caco with Seattle, his average, I think, was about 1740.
Yeah.
So
insanely
5-minute jump average.
Insane increase. So that really shows what you can do.
Yeah. Anyways, what do you want me to look at? My arm got kind of sore and I stopped listening.
Read off the goalie stats. How long was your arm raised? Jesus, that's gonna look funny on the record. I had the stats pulled up like on my computer.
Had to have been at almost 2 minutes.
Oh my god, I'm sorry.
Anyways,
that would have been funny for those people.
Like you want since the Kako era, or do you just want now?
Goalie stats overall.
All time or from the Kako era?
From this season, not all time. From this season.
I'm asking like all time this season. Okay, you know what? Forget it. Nordic's pissing me off. Shut up. All right. Joey Dackard, through 27 games played, has a 247 goals against average with a 914 save percentage. He's 14-9. He's faced 740 shots. He's got a shutout though, so good on him. And he's got an assist. Good on him there.
Yeah.
Heck of a job. Then it gets bad because you look at Philip Grubauer and through 20 games played, he has a 376 goals against average.
Yeah.
He has a 870 save percentage. He is 15-14. He has given up more goals than Joey Dackard has by 5 in 7 less games.
Yep.
Ridiculous. Yep. So not very good if you're Philip Grubauer, but really good if you're Joey Dackard because I think that your starting role is pretty freaking safe.
Oh, 100%. Like that net is Dackard's without a doubt in my mind. That net is Dackard's. So Grubauer, I want to go more in depth with him because he has been awful. It might be one of the worst signings ever. One of the worst goalie signings of this era. Bartner made a really good video on it, but I want to go more in depth. Grubauer signed a 6-year, $5.9 million contract with the Kraken in 2021. He looked okay in those first few seasons, but I wanted to pull up stats. Grubauer, I'm going to pull this up. I'm going to put this on screen right now. Grubauer has some of the I filtered this by minimum of 15 games played, or sorry, 10 games played. It doesn't matter. But Grubauer has the worst save percentage. I think the worst goals against average as well. Yeah, of any goalie in the National Hockey League by a large margin. What's up?
Oh, good. You saw my hand that time. Yeah, I hope you realize that it's not by 10 games, it's by 20.
That doesn't mean that's still the same thing.
You have 3 different fucking filters on.
Oh, I do. He's still
this guy's an idiot. All right, don't trust this guy with technology, man.
Well, no, I didn't think it would put all the filters on at the same time, but
totally wouldn't put all the filters on at the same time. You're right. I'm so sorry.
Shut up. Anyways, look, you got some of the worst goalies in the NHL down here, like Georgiev. Jari's been terrible. We'll get into him in a little bit. David Riddick, that's kind of surprising. I feel like he's been better this year than that stat says. Urson, Merzlikins, you got Jeremy Swayman, wow. But yeah, he has some of the worst numbers of any goalie in the NHL when you look in terms of that amount of games. So yeah, Grubauer has been by all means just terrible for the Seattle Kraken. But yeah, let's wrap this up. Carter, what changes do you think Seattle needs to make? Could we see possibly. I'm not even thinking like Balisma being fired. I'm thinking like, could Ron Francis be fired, the GM?
It's a huge question that I think will definitely be answered. And I think that it is going to have to be some sort of change coming along.
A lot of the
And,
signings he's made have looked terrible. Like the Stevenson one looks bad. The Grubauer one looks bad. This team just looks like a no man's land. Like,
he might not know how to sign
yeah, he might not know.
or draft.
No, he's a good drafter. He drafted.
I don't know. Look at Matty Beniers.
I mean, yeah, but I don't know. I don't really know.
I'm just kidding. Matty, I love you. You're a great player. And I have all the respect in the world for Matthew Beniers.
Yeah.
Unless you prefer Matty, then I'll call you Matty, but I don't know. You're Matthew.
Yeah, I don't really know. I don't know. I think it might end up happening at some point, but yeah, it has been an awful year for Seattle. Nothing has gone right for them. Almost nothing. Okay, let's move into news around the NHL along with trending players. We can start off with what has happened in the ECHL. The Chicklets boys have bought a freaking ECHL team. It is named the Greensboro Gargoyles. I'm pretty sure I'm saying that right. Carter, this is one of the weirdest things I've ever seen. One of the craziest things I've ever seen. And I'm all for it. I'm all for this. This is going to be
I agree. I'm a little disappointed. I mean, Biz texted me, asked me if I wanted to get in on this. I said no. I didn't think that it was worth it. But seeing all the support from the fans, I think I might have missed out on an opportunity there. But they're not the only people to have recently purchased some sort of franchise.
Oh, really? Zach Hyman?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Zach Hyman purchased the Brampton Bulldogs, right? His family did, not him himself solely, but his family and him purchased a franchise. That's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to seeing what the Chicklets are going to be able to do. You guys know that I have been affiliated with the ECHL's Reading Royals recently. Been doing some stuff for them. So I'm intrigued to see what's going to happen when Greensboro possibly comes to Reading. And they've mentioned Reading before on their podcast, which is funny. But, yeah, that'll be interesting to see what happens there. But, yeah, I thought that was pretty cool, something to bring up there. Tristan Jarry was placed on waivers by the Pittsburgh Penguins this past week, literally today. He is on the second year of a 5-year, $5.375 million contract. Yeah, that also looks like a horrible signing, too. And I want to read off a stat to you, Carter, that you may have seen. It's by JFresh. JFresh posted this stat. We know that Tristan Jarry has been bad at letting in goals in the first shot, the second shot, but let me read you this. Jarry has played 22 games this season. He has allowed a goal on the first shot 6 times. That's what it says on the stat here.
I thought it was 21 out of 22. I don't know why.
It's on the second shot. He's allowed 4 goals on the second shot. He's allowed a goal on the second shot 4 times. Jesus Christ. He has allowed a goal on the third shot twice. He has allowed a goal on the fourth shot 4 times. He has allowed a goal on the fifth shot 3 times. So I don't know if my math's that good. It's not. But add that up. That's 19 of 22 games where Jarry is allowing a goal in the first 5 shots of the game. That is unfathomable. That is unbelievably bad. That might be the stat of the year. That is actually insane. So, yeah, again, it has been sad how Jarry has taken such a fall from grace and has been absolutely garbage this season. So, what's so funny, Carter?
I just texted Seth. I asked him, I said, Seth, what's your take on Jarry and waivers? And this is what he replies with. I am so fucking happy. I know he's not getting claimed, but he's a terrorist and hopefully he's gone soon.
You know what he sent me? Here, I'll try and pull it up real quick so I can show it on the podcast. This literally is like the craziest thing I've ever seen. Hang on, let me pull it up here real quick.
I can expose him like crazy right now.
Oh, I could too, 100%. Yeah, Seth, friend of the show is wild, but like, yeah, Jarry has been has not been good at all, and Penguins fans know it. They hate the dude. Okay, all right. Trigger warning. This might make people angry, but we're gonna show it.
I'm scared.
Look at this freaking thing. Look at this. So for the audio listeners, he put Jarry in front of a terrorist like Google image. So like I was like, holy crap, dude. Like, I mean, he's not wrong either, because Jari has been horrible this year. But at the same time, that is a crazy thing to post.
It's so wild, but it's so Seth.
It's so Seth. If you guys know, if you guys have been locked in for a long time, Seth's a longtime friend of the pod. Yeah, he is known for that stuff. Ridley Gregg signed a 4-year, $3.25 million extension with the Ottawa Senators. Gregg this season in 40 games played has 6 goals, 7 assists, 13 points. Has not been particularly as good as you want him to be, but there's still a lot of time left in his career, and the cap's going up. I think that deal might turn into an absolute steal down the road, but obviously we will see. I'm not too sure about it. That's kind of pretty much it. We talked about the Pastrnak versus Marchand. We talked about Gauthier. Zach Aston signed a 1-year, $775K deal with the Blue Jackets. He's a good, depth scoring forward. And then there was actually a trade today. Carter, I didn't know if you saw this. It was a blockbuster between Winnipeg and Chicago. You and Jack. Isaac Phillips was dealt to Winnipeg for Dmitry Kuzmin. Carter, any thoughts on this minor ass?
Can I tell you this? I was at school, right?
Yeah.
I almost jumped out of my seat with excitement and shit my pants. Cause listen. How Winnipeg posted it was welcome to Winnipeg. I saw a Blackhawks logo and red. That's all I saw until I saw the name. I thought we had just signed Jonathan Taves, and I almost lost my mind.
Oh, that's what you thought.
So that's what I thought. And I'm like, holy shit. And I look at the name, I'm like, never fucking mind.
Isaac Phillips. Let me look this guy up. I don't know this guy that well. I think he's a 7th defenseman. Yeah, he's been in the AHL all year. He's played 56 games in the NHL, has 12 points. Yeah, he's definitely not Jonathan Taves.
You sure?
That might happen, though. I mean, hey, that might happen. Kuzmin is like a Walmart Devon Taves, or Jonathan Taves. Has 4 points in 21 games played in the AHL. He's not particularly the greatest player in the world. So, yeah, minor deal. That I thought was fun. All right, trending players now, Carter. I got one for you, and you're going to love this one.
I will.
I got to give a shout out. I got to give a shout out to the man who is carrying the Winnipeg Jets right now, is having literally the best season I think I've ever seen in net. When I think of really good seasons from goalies, I think of Linus Ullmark. I think of Vasilevsky a couple of years ago. I'm thinking of Connor Hellebuyck now. Hellebuyck this season, 27, 6-2, with a 1.99 goals against average and a .929 save percentage. He has as many shutouts as he does regulation losses. And it's really annoying that last night he let in that goal with Höglander against the Canucks. Otherwise, oh my God, he is actually unbelievable for the Winnipeg Jets. And I think Carter can totally back that up. He has been just absolutely generational for them. So yeah, that is my number one trending player right now. It's Connor Hellebuyck.
What a fucking season. God, I love Connor Hellebuyck. I love having this guy on my team. Oh, it's so awesome.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, definitely a trending player. I'm super happy. I'm so excited. Yeah. I am not gonna lie. I am already scared because he's at 35 games already, and I'm scared.
Yeah,
I'm scared. He's his highest of all time is 67, and that was in 2017-18. I'm scared. I don't want him to play more than 65. He's got 30 games left in him for the regular season, and then I need him rested for hopefully playoffs.
Yeah.
I'm so scared, but I'm excited too. So we're going to see what happens here because things are going to get very fun. I would absolutely love a back-to-back Vezina season for Connor Hellebuyck. So if we could get that, that would be unreal. If we could get a Hart season for him, that would be absolutely unreal. Yeah. Awesome. I'm so happy. I love Connor Hellebuyck, and I am absolutely excited. So I hope everyone else is.
You got any other trending players, or is Connor Hellebuyck just our boy today? I got one more if you don't have any.
So I don't have. I'll let you say a trending player, but I need to quickly find this. There's a certain stat I'm looking for.
Okay. I want to give a shout out to Ethan Frank of the Washington Capitals. He has come up this season after having a great year with the Hershey Bears, has 20 goals this season with the team. He comes up into the NHL. He's also the fastest skater in the AHL's All-Star game last year. He has played 3 games this season, has 2 goals, 1 assist for 3 points, has looked absolutely electric for the Washington Capitals, and has looked unbelievable for them. He has been a really good minor league player they've called up. They have a lot of really good players in the minors, too. Like, he is one of those guys that I've really liked. So I wanted to give a shout out to Ethan Frank. He looked really good this year.
All right. So this is my trending player, but it's not really trending players. So this is as of 6 days ago. It's a little outdated now, but it's one that I saw posted by TSN. The top 9 Canadian goal scorers since the Four Nations roster was selected. None of them made Team Canada.
Really?
So number 1 is Mark Scheifele, who had 11 goals in 17 games since the announcement.
Yeah.
This is as of 6 days ago. Jordan Kyrou, 11 goals in 17 games. Zach Hyman, 10 goals in 15. John Tavares, 10 and 19. Marchand, 10 and 16. Velarde, 10 and 17. Huberdeau, 9 and 15. Wilson, 9 and 17. And Tyler Bertuzzi, 9 and 17. So, I mean, it's not really like anything crazy or spectacular, but it's just crazy to think that out of everyone selected to Team Canada for the Four Nations, since the announcement, not one of them is in the top 9.
Yeah, that's honestly wild. I think it might be like the boost, the momentum boost of some of those players.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, F you. I'm gonna light it up. That might have lit a fire under a couple players' asses. So yeah, I like that. All right. Anything else with trending players?
No, I got nothing.
Okay. All right. Let's quickly do the power rankings since I know you have to go soon. Power rankings, for those who do not know, it's ranked 1 through 8 based off of this past week, solely kind of. So let's just hop into it here right away. What's up, Carter?
I got to go like right away.
Oh, you do? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I will do power rankings by myself.
I'll let you do the power rankings. If Winnipeg is not first, we got problems. I'm just kidding. Okay. But thank you guys all so much for listening to me. First episode 2025. Hope things go well. And I'll talk to you guys in the next episode.
All right. Later, Carter. Okay. Let me do our power rankings for this coming week. Number 1 for me. I have full control. This is not good. I'm going to start off with the Washington Capitals at number 1 for me. The Capitals, I think, had coming off of a great week. They've only had 1 regulation loss in their last 10 games. That is simply unreal. They are number 1 for me here. Number 2, I am going to go with the Winnipeg Jets. I'm going to go with the Jets at number 2. I think they have been nothing short of incredible as well at number 2. Number 3 is when things do get really interesting. Columbus Blue Jackets at number 3. They have won 5 games in a row. They are 8-2-0 in their last 10. They have suddenly made the wild card race look incredibly interesting, incredibly fun. So I wanted to give some credit to them. I do think Detroit should be on here somewhere, but I'm going to hold off on them for a second. Number 4, I'm going to go with the number 4, I think I'm going to go with I'll go with the Edmonton Oilers. I'm going to go with the Oilers at number 4. I think they've had a really good season this year. They're 7-2-1 in their last 10. They have been terrific. Actually, gonna make a change already. I'm gonna swap the Dallas Stars at number 4 and put the Oilers at 5. The Stars have literally 8-1-1 in their last 10. They have looked phenomenal. I think I'd be stupid not to put them any higher. So yeah, Stars going at number 4, Oilers going at number 5. I'll read it off at the end. Number 6, I'll go with the Ottawa Senators. Why not? The Senators have had a really good part of this season so far, so I'll go with them. Why not? And then number 7, I'm gonna go Montreal Canadiens. Canadiens at number 7. They have been on a roll recently, 7-2-1 in their last 10. And then number 8, I'm gonna go the Red Wings. I think that, again, like, even though they are on this little bit of like a hot streak and they've only lost 1 game, I think that, again, I need to see more out of them before I can move them up higher. So let's recap. Number 1, Washington Capitals. Number 2, Winnipeg Jets. Number 3, Columbus Blue Jackets. Number 4, Dallas Stars. Number 5, Edmonton Oilers. Number 6, Ottawa Senators. Number 7, Montreal Canadiens. And number 8, the Detroit Red Wings. So that is our power rankings for this past week, and that will do it for episode number 87 of the NordCast. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening. I really do appreciate it. Again, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow that, and listen to the episodes, and watch the clips that we post on there, all that good stuff. I would appreciate it very, very much. But anyways, that does it for me. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Thank you guys so much for watching or listening to yet again another episode of the NordCast. If you enjoyed, please subscribe down below or follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you want to follow us on TikTok, we are at NordCast. If you want to follow us on Instagram or Twitter, follow at NordCast_. That'll do it for this episode. I'm Nordic. Thanks for listening from all the crew, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.